think it actually begins in breath, because for me, that was the most
Mm.
like dramatic moment, because that was really where I almost lost my life, right? It wasn't in surgery for cancer. It wasn't, getting diagnosed. It was when I was in the hospital and I almost couldn't breathe anymore. It was like a very like spiritual moment where I could feel my ancestors with me. Not that they were going to do anything because it was sort of up to science at that point of like, are these steroids going to work? Like, are these machines going to work that I'm hooked up to? But I could feel them there, that if I was going to cross over, they were there. And I knew if I ended up on a vent, I'm like, shit, I'm probably not going to come off this thing. like I really knew like this was it. Like either these meds and this machine that I was hooked up to were going to work, or they just weren't. And that was just going to be it. I remember the first time that I could take a full deep breath on my own. That was really powerful for me. We do take it for granted, that we can take a full deep breath. And so the fact that my body healed from all that difficulty while I was getting cancer treatments, like it's really amazing. Like, I don't know that we give our bodies enough credit for what they do. And like one thing I do every day is like I look at myself in the morning when I'm like on my way to my shower is I look at myself in my full length mirror and I give myself a hug and I'm like, body, you're doing so great. Like you're doing so great. And like I don't think that we thank our bodies enough for like what they do for us. We have never, as people, we have never invented a machine that's more incredible than the human body. Like we haven't, and we probably never will. From our own physical body of like what it helps us do and move through the world, even in the most difficult circumstances. I used to feel like I'm in total control of my life. And then when I had to have breast surgery, my therapist said to me, he's like, oh, honey, you're a very talented woman, but even you cannot take off your own boobs. Okay. Like you're going to have to like put your life in someone else's hands. And I'm like, but I don't like that. And he's like, I know. I was really scared I was like putting my life, literally my life, in other people's hands and having no ability to control that. And so this whole experience, I think, made me realize that you have to trust other people. You have to. Like there are times in your life that, your life is in someone else's hands. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. Yeah, like with modern medicine and my friends who helped me get to the hospital and my own body being able to heal, I came out the other side. We come up with all these fears in our heads. Most of them never happen. And then the things that do happen, we just have to sort of get on with it, right? Like, what's the treatment for breast cancer? Okay, great. What's the treatment for pulmonary pneumonitis? Okay, great. And you just have to roll with that, because even if it's something that you don't plan for, it's something that you have to deal with. When I think about, where does breath and trust come in? It's like, I think not trusting someone, it all feels like very small, right? Mm-hmm. Or when you can't breathe, it's very small and very constrained. And then when you start to open up breath and expand, and you start to trust and you expand. And I think expansion is very much about what gratitude is. I didn't know how much love my heart could hold. I didn't know that I could love that much. Even though they couldn't show up physically because of COVID, they showed up in all these other ways. But that would never have happened if I wasn't very honest and open about my diagnosis. Some of the things that people said to me and like did for me, like those are things that you hear in eulogies, when it's too late. And like I got a chance in my lifetime to find out what I meant to other people. And like that was so powerful for me. And in that way, which this sounds crazy, but this was like sort of the goal from the beginning is like, I actually wanted to find a way to be grateful for cancer. If I hadn't gotten cancer, like, isn't that sad that it takes cancer, like, to know those things, but we don't necessarily always tell people what they mean to us. You know, we don't tell people enough. I don't think. I think the best way for me to show how grateful I am, like, I will never be able to say thank you enough. To my doctors or my friends, or I don't think there are enough words. And so I think the best thing is for me to live the best life that I can live. And so I think that means kind of like, you know, flying as high as I can and taking as many people as I can with me. And I think that's how I'll be able to really say thank you.
And this is the hands. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Because I think that's the best example of it, right? Is like, they changed my life. And how do you ever, like, I go in and I see my breast surgeon and I'm like, how do I ever say thank you enough? And she always says, like, oh, I'm just part of the team, Christa. I'm just one of the members of the team. And like, that's very kind and very humble, but it's really not true. like she did save my life.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't be here if she didn't take that cancer out. You know, and if she didn't make me believe that I could get better.
Right.
You know, she was the one who said, 10 years from now, you're going to sit across this desk from me. And we're going to thank the person that you are today, who came in here to take care of yourself. And I believed her.
Right.
And it was like that. She was like, look, this sucks. She's like, and you don't have to like it. And frankly, it would be weird if you did. She's like, but she's like, you do have to go through it. But she's like, it will not always be this way. And she's like, I know it's hard in the middle of all of this to think like, oh God, is there going to come a day where my calendar doesn't revolve around doctor appointments? And she's like, I am telling you that day is coming. And she said to me, you know, she gave me a big hug and she said, I love you so much. And she's like, now go suit up. And she was like, we are going to war.
Right.
And we were, you know, and she was like, there will be casualties of like, you're going to lose whole parts of your body and we will never be able to get them back. She was like, but the prize you get is that you get to live.